Well, good afternoon, Max. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I am excited. I've loved this series of little books, big messages. It's been great to dive into these books that, quite honestly, we probably don't pay enough attention to, right?
Yeah,
And
I
I,
mean, it's been so great to, have the weekly readings, getting to have these conversations in preparation for everything, and taking a look at these books that we just really don't get a lot of great opportunity to preach through, unfortunately, because
yeah,
it's hard to do a series through one chapter.
yeah, through 13 verses, and
Yep.
so yeah, and I think our last book, the letter of Jude, certainly fits that description. And I think the question you have to start with is, who is Jude?
So I think the first thing we need to identify is, well, how do we know it's Jude? And it's very simple because he opens the letter with Jude,
Hmm.
the brother of James. So we know that it's written for sure by someone named Jude, who is the brother of someone named James. There's a little bit of questioning over who exactly it is. Um, but the consensus opinion, the one that I believe we would both fall into, is this is Jude, the brother of James, the half brother of Jesus. And so someone who would have participated in, followed Jesus, been around everyone and around the ministry going on that we see recorded in the Gospels. And now he is continuing in ministry along with his brother because of his brother
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything that he has done.
Because Matthew actually talks about in his gospel Jesus's brothers, James and Judas.
Yes.
And Jude is another form of Judas. Obviously, we're not talking about Judas Iscariot here. That's not that
Yes.
guy. And so, while, yeah, we can't say for absolute certainty, I think we're pretty comfortable in saying that every indication and virtually every scholar believes this is Jesus's half brother. Um, Judas is referred to in Matthew, Jude as he refers to himself. I kind of think about it, my name's Tommy, but people call me Tom. Kind of a similar situations going on here. And he's writing to a church. He doesn't specify which church, and so this is probably more of an open letter going out to a number of churches that were facing a very real problem. And we believe that these were predominantly Jewish churches, Jewish Christian churches, because there's a lot of references to the Old Testament and to pieces of literature that the Jewish community would have been very aware of. And so he's writing to these churches talking about this problem that they're facing. And the problem that they're facing is that there have been teachers that have silently got into these churches that are basically proclaiming a false gospel. But what I really love about this letter, one of the things, is that he doesn't address the theology of their teaching, he addresses their behavior and is
Yeah.
basically saying you can look at these guys, look at the life they're living, and by that life, you can tell they are not following Jesus. And that's really what he's pointing to. And he uses like I said, a lot of Old Testament references. I'm actually going to attach to this video a list of the verses that he just alludes to and where we can find those. But a couple of things that he refers to are actually extra biblical books. So
Yeah.
books not actually found in the Bible. He refers to First Enoch and the um, uh, testimony of Moses and things like that. And so that would be in my mind again. I'm thinking, these aren't canonical Bible books, but they're also just really good books that the people of that time would have been familiar with and have good teaching in. So while they don't carry the same weight of the actual books of the Bible, they're still very good references. It would be no different than if I made a reference to something C.S. Lewis wrote. No, C.S. Lewis isn't writing spirit inspired scripture, but man, he's writing some really good stuff. We can learn from it, and that's basically what he's doing here. And so he talks about this problem that's come into the church. He gives all these examples about what the problems that it causes. But he bookends this letter with the same phrase, both in the beginning and the ending: contend for the faith. What does he mean by that?
I think it can be boiled down to another New Testament quote, which is that always comes into my mind whenever I read that line, contend for the faith. And the line that immediately pops into my mind is hold fast to what you have received.
Yes.
Hold fast to the gospel. It doesn't matter if someone comes and presents a new one. They're not going to reveal some sort of new teaching because the gospel is not going to change. And it's that holding fast to your faith, contend for it, fight for it, hold on to what you have received, have faith in your faith,
Yeah.
in what you have received, and trust that it is true and fight for it. Don't give in because a new thing shows up. Don't give in because new people show up, but instead make sure you're holding on to what is most important, and that is the gospel.
Yeah. And when he says the faith, he's not talking about our personal beliefs, our personal faith, our personal spirituality. He's using the faith as kind of the shorthand for all the teachings of Jesus, who
Yeah.
Jesus is, what he's accomplished. That's the faith that he's talking about here. And I was just thinking about what you said, and I believe it's Paul that even wrote, even if it's angels that are telling you something different than what has been passed on, don't believe them.
Yeah.
And Jude uses the line, the faith that has been passed on to you once and for all. So this really speaks against further revelations that people claim, whether that be, the Book of Mormon or the Quran or a modern day prophet that's speaking something contrary to the gospel faith. We should dismiss it.
Yeah.
And so when he talks about contending for the faith, I think he's talking about, you know just exactly what you said, and not just against other teachers, but what's culture teaching you, what's the world leading you toward, what's your own desires and fleshly nature drawing you towards. We have to contend for that. But I love the distinction he makes right towards the end of the letter. It's not just for our own benefit. We are to contend for the faith for other people. We are to
Yeah.
help people understand what is true and what is right. We're to pass on that faith to others. And that's the outward focus of this letter is we have to know what the faith is. We have to hold fast to it. We have to believe it. We have to live it so that we can then pass that on to others. And so this is another short letter, but man, what a huge message he gives us. So I am looking forward to diving into it this Sunday. Any last thoughts on Jude from you?
I mean, I love the ending of this letter. I mean, I love the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I do what you're hitting on and what Jude is talking about, particularly in the conclusion of this letter, and talking about how we do not despise those who are ignorant, but instead we want to bring them into the faith. We have mercy on
Have
them, just as
mercy on
Christ
them.
had mercy on us.
Yeah.
And it is our desire that we bring those into glory by the fact that we are able to show them who Jesus is in our lives
Yeah.
and by what he's transformed us into. And we are not despising them, but instead we are shining a light to them in order that whether it's someone who has not received the message or someone who has strayed from the
Mm-hmm.
message, and as dangerous and as scary as that line is, it our heart should be, no matter where they are, no matter what point they're at right now, our goal is that you meet Jesus and submit your life to him, and through that receive the grace and mercy and forgiveness that we experience and that we believe is offered.
I love that because contend for the faith isn't, hey, win that theological argument. It's no, go out and win that person for Christ. Do what he's offering you. Take advantage of the opportunities he's placing before you so that he can save them. And um, that he bookends with that as well. I talked about the bookend of contend for the faith, but if you go even a
Yep.
little further out, he starts by reminding us that we have been called and saved and kept by God. And then at the very end, he reminds us that it's not us ultimately that's going to save ourselves, even. It's Jesus who is able to hold us. And so, man, just, a 2,000-year-old letter that just speaks to the heart of what we need to be doing today. And I love the timelessness of the gospel for just this very reason. So I'm looking
Absolutely.
forward to it. Hope everybody can read through Jude several times. I know a lot of people are listening to it as well, and reading it and listening to it in different translations. And I think that's a fantastic idea to get a better feel for just what this letter has for us. And be prepared, and we are going to break it down on Sunday. I look forward to it.
Me too.
See you then, Max.
Bye.
Bye.